Members of Parliament risk losing their oversight role on the sale of parastatals. This follows Tuesday's approval by the Cabinet of the draft privatisation bill that gives the National Treasury a free hand to sell non-strategic and non-performing public entities. But how real a threat is it, given, as Brian Mushiri reports, the House has become a mere rubber stamp of the government agenda?
With the anti-government protests set to continue next week, the Cabinet's approval of the Privatisation Bill of 2023, which allows the National Treasury to privatize public-owned enterprises without the approval of Parliament, has opened a new frontier for a tug-of-war between the leading coalitions. The ruling Kenya Kwanza coalition indicates that privatization is the only way to bring struggling parastatals back to profitability, while the opposition indicates that this will be a move to open a proper window for looting and corruption. With President William Ruto's onslaught on the opposition to gain a supermajority in Parliament, legislators may soon abdicate their oversight role to the executive if they pass the controversial proposed legislation on the sale of state entities. This follows Tuesday's move by the Cabinet, chaired by President William Ruto, to approve the proposed Privatisation Bill 2023 to repeal the 2005 law, which seeks to give National Treasury Cabinet Secretary sweeping powers on the sale of non-strategic and non-performing strategic parastatals without MP's nod. And the legislators have sensed the looming crisis.
Now, yesterday, Mr. William Ruto backed the push to sell parastatals without the approval of Parliament. That change of law will give the National Treasury and cartels in government unchecked powers to sell institutions, some of which are as old as the nation, and were put up using taxpayers' money. We wish to state categorically and emphatically that Azimio does not support that move by the Ruto administration.
Privatization is ill-advised and unacceptable, and the people of Kenya must resist it.
Just a day after the Cabinet's approval of the proposed privatization bill, President Ruto was at the National Securities Exchange for the second time after he mooted the sale of public entities.
Cabinet, we approved a new law that will provide mechanisms for Kenyans to own part of what is Kenya.
The soon-to-be-introduced government-sponsored bill in the National Assembly adds to the growing number of contested legislation that are pro-government since Ruto assumed office last September. The IEBC Amendment Act of 2022 that set up the selection panel to recruit the 6 commissioners and chair remains a protracted issue between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. As if that is not enough, the Division of Revenue Bill 2023 also budget and instead settled for 385 billion shillings. The passage of the privatization law will be a litmus test not only to the opposition MPs but also to the Kenya Kwanza MPs on whether they will defend their turf or surrender their oversight role to the executive. Brian Mushiri, NTV, Nairobi.